Thank you, Philip,
Thank you,
for
sir.
the wonderful words from your part for me. Fabulous opportunity for me being with you on ecology again. I should thank Dr. Matthew Koshi. I have been associating with the Department of Ecological Concerns for the last 8 years, only because of Dr. Matthew Koshi. He has been making me an eco-theologian by giving me a lot of chances to learn eco-theology. Wonderful, grateful opportunity for me to read the Bible from eco perspective. I find it as a dynamic notion in the life of theological learning journey. Now we are on the book of Job. I am sure that one of the favorite books in the Bible for you also, because of narrating that book in a story style, comes under the category of wisdom literature. From childhood onwards, I have been fascinated by this book and read the book many times because of its touching character, fascinating method of writing. But when I read 3 articles from this Earth series on the book of Job, I was totally changed to read the book Job. We are supposed to be on 3 articles today. On the basis of chapter 12, chapter 28, chapter 38 and 39. We begin with the chapter 12. Among these 3 articles, I am fascinated dynamically by this article because after reading this article, completely different perspective to read the book of Job. Never met that kind of dynamism before. So we begin now. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Job chapter 12. The article is written by Alice M. Synod. The title of this article is Cosmic Devastation and Social Turmoil. Before entering into the article, we should know something about the book of Job. As all of you know, the author of this book is unknown. Maybe an Israelite, due to mentioning often the covenant between God and Israelites. Might have been written in the 1st or 2nd century BCE. This book is written with unusual words and phrases. Therefore, the translators of this book found very difficult. Example, only 400 lines in the Greek translation, which is non-Septuagint. Only 400 lines, the total book. Because of the difficulty to translate into Greek. It happened with early Syriac, Peshitta. It happened with Aramic translation, Targum. It also happened with the Latin translation, Vulgate. Anyway, the central theme of this book can be articulated within a question. The central question is, why does God allow to suffer the righteous? Why does God allow to suffer the righteous? If God is a God of justice and righteousness, why does God allow to suffer the righteous? If we think about the methodology of this book, we should concentrate on two realms. One is reconstruction. The other realm is deconstruction. Concerning reconstruction, we have a lot of traditional understanding and traditional wisdom about God. But this book says you have to reconstruct your understanding and wisdom about God through learning from the nature. Through learning from the nature. Second realm of methodology of this book, deconstruction. This methodology of this book demands us to deconstruct our existing traditional convictions of faith. We have a lot of traditional convictions about our faith. This book, the methodology of this book, demands us to deconstruct the convictions, the traditional convictions of our faith. As I have mentioned, this book comes under the category of wisdom literature. And all of us know that Job is a mere representative of innocent suffering humanity. of innocent suffering humanity. Now, I would like to remind you about the 6 eco-justice principles, because each article is written on the basis of each principle, eco-justice principle. The first article is written on the basis of the principle of voice. The second article is with the principle of interconnectedness. The third article is written on the basis of mutual custodianship. You should know, and I am sure that you know, the 6 eco-justice principles. Principle of intrinsic worth, principle of interconnectedness, principle of voice, principle of purpose, principle of mutual custodianship, and principle of resistance. Now, we are on terminology. One important term, E-R-E-T-S, erects, E-R-E-T-S is the Hebrew word used for earth. Approximately 660 times in the New Revised Standard Version, NRSV. Eretz is a feminine in gender. Hebrew scripture acknowledges this term as divine mother earth or earth goddess. Divine mother earth or earth goddess. Now, we are entering into the content of this article. Earth is a place of devastation and social disorder. We always think that earth is a place of order maintained by God. But Job 12 reveals that earth is a place of devastation and disorder. What a terrible preoccupied attitude we have. Just opposite of the reality. We think that earth is in order, maintained by God because of God's creation. Job 12 reveals that it is not. Completely disorder and devastation. Job 12 reveals this traditionally pre-formulated attitude and its impacts. Traditional conviction focuses us to think, listen, righteous should be blessed. Therefore, whoever has sufferings is punished as a result of sins. This is our preoccupied, pre-formulated faith conviction attitude. Righteous should be blessed, and whoever has sufferings is a matter of God's punishment as a result of sin. Your Job is suffering, and it is understood as a result of his sin. by his friends. This is traditional understanding. The three friends easily concluded with this traditional understanding. The worst impact of preoccupied traditional conviction is that we cannot see and hear the immediate world. It happened with the three friends of Job. But Job did not agree with the pre-established conviction on blessings and curse. Therefore, he started to understand the real reason of the immediate experience happened in his life through a meaningful encounter with God. So the next subtitle is Earth as an Oppressed Object. Earth as an oppressed object. Here, Job remains as an oppressed object due to the pre-established traditional attitude of the society. It reminds us about the exact state of earth as an oppressed object. Our attitude towards the earth is based on the traditional understandings and convictions. It blocks us to hear the voice of earth. But in the life of Job, in the midst of intolerable sufferings, he was trying to hear the voice of earth about the reasons of the sufferings of a righteous human being. Further, the author of this article tries to understand how earth functions in this text, chapter 12. So next division is reading the text of Job chapter 12 from the perspective of earth. Now it is very serious. We are going to read Job chapter 12 from the perspective of earth. Never happened in our life. So, please give your keen attention. Job reveals the voice of earth from his own observation and the experience of his life. Job 12 consists of 3 strophes. First one, earth destructive wisdom. Earth destructive wisdom. Job chapter 12 verses 1 to 6 is the text here. Job condemns the traditionally occupied claims of the wisdom of his friends. Verse 2, truly you are the people with whom wisdom will die. God witnesses Job as, just and blameless. Job chapter 1 verse 1. But now the friends witness Job as unjust and blamed. 12:4. Job reveals that wisdom of his friends is against the wisdom of God. Wisdom of his friends is against the wisdom of God. This is the cause of the destruction of God's creation. Whenever we are having a wisdom that stands against the wisdom of God. It is a matter of the destruction of God's creation. Further, Job questions the concept of security as a blessing. Security as a blessing. Job questions that position. We always think that we are secured by the grace of God. But Job does not agree with that because of his experience. And we think that security given by God is a blessing. And one of his friends, so far, argues that security is a blessing, understanding security as a blessing. So far, argues that those who maintain the order of the created world. Job also condemns this traditional concept by revealing the peace and security of those who have been perpetuating evil. Chapter 12, verses 5 and 6. Those who are perpetuating evil in this earth are having peace and security. Those who are being with God lose it. Then how can you understand security as a blessing? A crucial question from Job towards the traditional understanding of his friends. Secondly, earth is the teacher of real wisdom. Is the teacher of real wisdom. Job chapter 12, verses 7 to 12 is the base of this point. Job reveals the relationship of earth with her creator by stating that earth is full of God's wisdom. If we ask earth, it will reveal the real wisdom of God, because earth is filled with God's wisdom. But we claim that we have the ultimate wisdom, and Job says that it is not. And we argue that the ultimate wisdom about God is with us and not with earth. Job refuses it. The traditional understanding of faith. Job identifies his friends as the killers of wisdom, whereas earth reminds us the real wisdom of God. Here Job rejects the personal revelation that negates the revelation of wisdom by earth. Once again, here Job rejects the personal revelation that negates the revelation of wisdom by earth. Job 12, verses 7 and 8. Ask the beasts, and let one of them teach you. Also the bird of the air, and let it tell you. Or speak to the earth, and let earth teach you. And let the fish of the sea declare to you. Job 12, 7 and 8. Earth knowledge. Term, earth knowledge. Job argues is the ground to reveal God's action. Speak to earth. Job stays, is the best action we can do. That is friends never do. Job firmly states that rejecting the fact that question the faith and accepting everything that support the faith is a wrong spiritual method. Once again, rejecting the facts that question the faith and accepting everything that support the faith is a wrong spiritual method that distracts God's creation due to not providing a space for listening and hearing the voice of earth. Job is brave enough to say that, listen, if God oppresses the creatures, it should be identified as divine misrule. The traditional faith conviction always demands us to think that God's rule is perfect. But Job is brave enough to say that if God oppresses the earth, it should be identified as divine misrule. Job 12:7 to 10 and Job chapter 7:7 to 10. Job declares that earth teaches by direct experience. Therefore, earth should be the central of our speech. Job advocates earth-centered speech. What? Earth-centered speech. It does not take place in our faith. In our conversation, in our speech, in our thinking, earth is taken away, very far away. Now Job declares that since earth teaches with direct experience, earth should be the center of your speech. That is earth-centered speech. Job rejects the anthropocentric worldview. You know what is that? Anthropocentric worldview of his friends that establishes the predicability of God's conduct. Anthropocentric worldview declares that human beings can expect order, predicability, and security. Job confirms that earth and her inhabitants reveal the unpredictability of God's conduct. God's conduct is unpredictable. Earth proves it. Page number 82. Job says that God reveals darkness and chaos. Job takes a firm position against anthropocentrism by stating that it renounces God's freedom to act as God. What a dangerous position of anthropocentrism. It blocks God to act as God. Anthropocentric position is inadequate to address the problem of sufferings of the blameless. If the wisdom of the aged is based on anthropocentrism, we cannot employ it. Now, third section, subversion and destabilization. based on Job chapter 12, verse 13, 16, and 22. Reveal the destructive power of God. We always, in a traditional way, think about the constructive power of God. Now, Job talks about the destructive power of God in order to express God's control over earth. Job believes in the destructive manipulation of God due to his personal experience beyond the traditional convictions of doxology. Verse 22, God uncovers the deeps out of darkness and brings deep darkness to light. Verse 23, God makes nations great, then destroys them. God enlarges nations and then leads them away. Verse 24, God strips understanding from the leaders and make them wander in the pathless waste. Verse 25, they grope in the dark without light. God makes them stagger like a drunkard. Verse 16, part B states, God has wrecking destruction on the earth and her inhabitants. Traditional conviction declares peace, order, and stability perpetuated by God on earth. But Job wanted to reveal the other side of God, who promotes destruction, disorder, arbitrary, and tyrannical power due to the wickedness of people. This is against the traditional wisdom and understanding of God. Psalm 107 verses 33 to 37. God turns rivers into a desert, springs of water into thirsty ground, a fruitful land into a salty waste because of the wickedness of his inhabitants. God turns a desert into pools of water and parched land into springs of water. The deceived and deceiver are gods. Job 12:16. Job claims that God fosters darkness instead of promoting discernment and enlightenment. God exercises wisdom by demolishing what humans have constructed. Verse 23. Here, Job brings out the conviction that everything exists out of the mercy of God. God makes the purpose of human beings into purposelessness. Then the order made by human beings will become disorder. God disorients the orientation of human being about the wisdom and understanding of God. Human being thinks to call such a God, and God's wisdom is totally absurd. Job 12:14 to 65. Job portrays God not as overthrowing oppression by deliverance, but as frustrating all human effort at ordering existence. The ultimate purpose of creation as per Job is to reveal the primordial reality behind creation. Page 88. Job claims that God created light to reveal the deep character of the primordial reality, and that reality is deadly darkness. See the dynamic position. Job claims that God created light to reveal the deep character of the primordial reality, and that reality is deadly darkness. Job recognizes the sufferings of earth on the basis of his own torment and sufferings. Job tries to reconstruct the concept of transcendent interfering God that destructs creation. So, we are done with the first article on the basis of chapter 12. Please keep all these things in your mind when we take up the last article. We have to understand the third article on the basis of this. Keep it in mind. Don't forget. So we are entering into the second article, plumbing the depths of earth. Plumbing the depths of earth, Job 28, and deep ecology by Catherine Jedel. Excuse me for 1 sec. Let me turn on the fan. I am sitting. I am not familiar with this place. I am not in Chennai now. I am in Parangipete for conducting 1 week class for BD2, BD second year students. So Parangipete is nearby Pondicherry. So now we are on the second article written by Catherine Jedel. So let me begin with deep ecology. Then only you can understand this article. I am talking about deep ecology. Deep ecology. Deep ecology is an environmental philosophy which is firstly constructed in 1973 by Norwegian philosopher Arne Naess, Naess, Arnenaess, and developed by George Sessions, Bill Duvall, Rachel Carson, David Bravo, Paul R. Elric, etc. Arnenaess argues for biospherical egalitarianism in principle. Once again, biospherical egalitarianism in principle. That is the principle of deep ecology. Then I am talking about the positions of deep ecology. Listen me, point by point. I am going fastly. Deep ecology, the positions of deep ecology as follows. Advocating ecocentric or earth-centered worldview and rejecting anthropocentric worldview. Seeking intrinsic value of earth components irrespective of the utilitarian value. Respecting the diversity of life forms on earth. Special focus on how humans are related to nature. natural world is a complex relationship in which the existence of organisms is dependent on the existence of others within ecosystem. Standing against non-vital human interference that distracts ecosystem. Standing for eco-ethics and eco-justice. Standing for environmental ethics. Standing against anthropocentric environmentalism. Standing against commodification of nature. Standing against anti-eco-civilization and development. Standing against eco-destructive economics, technological and ideological structures. Advocating the principle of interconnectedness. 13 positions regarding deep ecology. Now, Job chapter 28. This article, for me, I felt very easy reading article. But the first article we have already come across. Something tough, but this is not. Hymn or poem of wisdom that praises of the beauty, richness, diversity, and sometimes strangeness of the living and non-living things of the earth. Job chapter 20 is read with the principle of interconnectedness. The first article is with principle of earth voice. Now we are being with the principle of interconnectedness for reading chapter 28. Emphasize God's relationship with the creation. The poem is written with powerful and luxurious words. The text reveals the richness of the earth by saying, in the depths of earth, where human beings find gold, silver, copper, iron, jewels, and precious stones. The text talks about the accessibility of human beings to process the richness even in the depth of earth. But at the same time, the text reveals that earth has secrets beyond human comprehension. Earth maintains its secrets without revealing to human beings. And the secret of the earth is beyond the comprehension capacity of human being. In short, listen, earth gives its gifts, but does not reveal all its secrets. Earth gives its gifts, but does not reveal its secrets. The passage says that the animals have their own order and justice apart from the understandings of human beings, but they have different skills and habits comparing with human beings. They have their own just structure and their own order apart from human beings. In short, The text establishes that animals have their own perspectives about nature apart from humans. We never think that. Animals have their own perspective about nature apart from human beings. The text describes the non-human world and the world of animals and sea. The text says that earth is the guardian of wisdom. Earth is the guardian of wisdom, and the way to her is unknown to human beings. And it is known only to the Creator God. Guardian of wisdom, and the way to her, the wisdom of the earth, is unknown to human beings. Only God knows. Page number 122. In wisdom literature, it is mentioned that wisdom is a female principle. Wisdom is a female principle. Here we find a feminine aspect of creation and its language about God. Thus, wisdom is a vital part of God's activity, but wisdom herself as an essential separatedness from God, because wisdom as separate entity from God. Wisdom literature proves it. Therefore, Norman C. Habel says, wisdom is not something in God, but it is a mystery of cosmos, discovered in the process of creating and ordering the world. The primary image of God is creator. Due to creating this universe, the ordering principle of God is wisdom. Wisdom is God's ordering principle for this creation. Wisdom is the point of interrelationship of human and non-human. The point of interrelationship of human and non-human, that is wisdom. Further, wisdom is the realm where both human and non-human can relate with God. Wisdom is the ground of moral responsibility of human beings towards Creator and creation. This is all about the second article. Talking about deep ecology and the peculiarities of wisdom literature, especially the characters of wisdom embedded with the nature, from the perspective of the principle of interconnectedness. Now, let me welcome all of you to the third article, written by Norman C. Habel. One of the main figures, one of the main figures of the Earth Bible series. The title is the Wild Ox Willing to Serve You? Challenging the Mandate to Dominate. You have to remind yourself the first article. The article is about the challenges of Job, chapter 38 and 39. Over the challenges of chapter 38 and 39 over Genesis chapter 1 verses 26 to 28. In the context of ecological crisis, the text is read with eco-justice principle of mutual custodianship. Now we are being with these chapters on the basis of the principle of mutual custodianship. This principle states that earth itself is a custodian of earth, along with the human, to preserve the earth community in its all diversity, both biotic and abiotic. In the mutual custodianship, the components of the earth community take care of each other with the responsible kinship, K-I-N-S-H-I-P, kinship. Now, I am on custodianship, stewardship, and kinship. Both custodianship and stewardship are crucially criticized by the Earth Bible environmentalists. We are always advocating custodianship and stewardship for the sake of our faith. But the Earth Bible environmentalists reject this or criticize this custodianship and stewardship. Let me explain. Steward is a person who represents and acts on behalf of someone who has power and authority. The steward operates in the place of the owner and ruler. It is a matter of authoritarianism. Distracts the nature. Custodian is a person who keeps something under the custody. It perpetuates the feudal system. Therefore, custodianship also is an oppressive structure and exploitative structure. It distracts the nature. Therefore, Earth Bible series advocates kinship is the best model for mutual custodianship. Kinship is the best model for mutual custodianship. Now, the mandate to dominate. Genesis chapter 1, 26 to 28 violates the principle of mutual custodianship between humans and earth community due to allowing humans to dominate earth and earth community. Genesis chapter 1, 28. God blessed them, the humans, and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Genesis 1:28. Now the article proposes three approaches. The first one, the term ruling, radha, and subduing, kawash, Hebrew words, allow humans to dominate earth and unjustly reduces earth and earth community to an inferior status. Secondly, the term rule maintains that humans are given the power to rule the earth with own knowledge and justice. Third connotation is, this is according to Brugman, Walter Brugman. The term rule and subdue stand for taking care and showing kindness towards earth. This is a softening approach as per Brugman. Taking care of the poor creatures with justice is the sense here. Now, Norman C. Hebel, the author of this article, suggests that both words are the root cause of domination and oppression over earth. Dominion and dependency go hand in hand as per one world. The dominion of humans over earth repeat in Psalm 72, third stanza. And verse 8. Again, Psalm 8 shows that all things are put under the feet of human beings. The term kawash means subdue, is used in the Hebrew Bible with the meaning of overpowering force, military conquest, forced submission, enforced subjugation of slaves, sexual subjugation, assault on a woman. The meaning of the term kawash, that is the word used for subdue in Hebrew Bible. Now, Hebel comes to the context of the text. There is a clash between Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 and Genesis chapter 2 verses 15, where we see the term till, T-I-L-L. The Hebrew word is awa, which means serve, rule, or have dominion. The word is rada. Subdue or crush. The word is kawash. Serve or till. The word is award. Sustain or keep. The word is shama. Genesis 2:15 states that humans are the servants of the earth. Just opposite to the first creation story. Genesis 2:15 is just opposite to Genesis 1:28. Genesis 2:15 states that the human beings are the servants of the earth, not the masters of the earth. Both the stories state that earth is the source of life and life-giving land. Therefore, highly valued due to the sustenance of all creatures. God appoints earth as the custodian to provide food and sustenance for all its community. Genesis chapter 1, 29 and 30. Genesis chapter 9, 1 to 7 is an extension of Genesis chapter 1, 26 to 28. Both texts belong to priestly tradition with a right to kill. Genesis chapter 1, 26 to 28 talks about the right of human being to dominate over the earth. Now, Genesis chapter 9, 1 to 7 talk about the right of even human being even to kill the components of earth community. Therefore, Job chapter 38, a journey through cosmos. God takes Job on a journey through creation. In this journey, Job encounters many sights and species, but not the human species. It means, Patrick Dale says, creation has been descended. Humanity is not viewed as the center of everything. In our traditional understanding, humans are the crown of creation, the center of creation. But here, this chapter, Job 38, demands that creation has been descended and humanity is not viewed as the center of everything. Two questions are asked to Job by God. Two questions, very crucial questions in this chapter. The first one is, do you understand what you are looking at? Job asked to Job, do you understand what you are looking at? Job could not understand. Second question, do you have any power to control what you see? Do you have any power to control what you see? No control, Job said. In this journey, Job realized three things. First one, he understands that he does not have any knowledge about God's creation. He thought that he has, but now he realizes that he does not have any knowledge about God's creation. Without the knowledge of God's creation, how human being can control, rule, and dominate earth? Secondly, Job realizes that he does not have any power to rule earth, since he does not have true knowledge about earth. Thirdly, Proverbs chapter 8 states, on the basis of women wisdom, that human can control earth, which is negated by Job chapter 38 by saying answer, no, no. Whatever God asked about God's creation, this earth, Job realized that he does not have any knowledge about this. He said no. Answer was no to all questions. Page 187. On this journey through the cosmos, God challenges Job's portrait of God's arbitrary and God as the destructive manipulator of creation. First article, Job understands God as a destructive power and a destructive manipulator of creation. Now, through this journey, Job understands that it was my mistake. Because of the ignorance about God's creation, I misunderstood God as destructive power to destruct God's creation. Page 186 gives us very clear vision of the difference between Job chapter 38 and Genesis chapter 1. Now I am on chapter 39, journey into the wild. A wonderful journey because of very strange knowledge that rejects the traditional understanding about God and God's creation. On the journey to the wild, Job could not understand anything about the wild life except the wild life is full of mysteries. That he understood in this journey. And the mysteries are never really dominated. The wild life is full of mysteries. Job realizes that the wild ASS, enjoys the freedom from human control. Means human does not have any control over wild us. Job understands that wild ox is not accepted to be his servant, and he cannot to be the master or ruler of wild ox at any cost. Job 39:9. We always think that we can control ox. Now Job understands that no control over wild ox. Beyond the controlling capacity of human beings, Then who is human before wild dogs? It means that wild creatures are not to be subjugated by humans. The mandate to dominate as per Genesis story is totally negated through the revelation of God to Job in this journey. The basic lesson taught by God is for the rejection of the tradition that humans are commissioned as part of their basic role under God to rule over all creatures. The world of the wild is beyond human control and dominion. Genesis chapter 9:2 is objected by Job chapter 39. By understanding that all creatures are not terrified by the terrific action of humans, but vice versa. We always think that we can terrify the creatures, the animals. Now Job understands that we cannot, but we are terrified by them. With the nature of ferocity of owls. Job 39, 19 to 25. Maligned ostrich. Job 39, 13 to 18. God was purposefully showing all these wild animals to Job in order to deconstruct and reconstruct his knowledge about God's creation. Hawk soaring, 39, 26 to 30. The creatures are not terrified by humans, but humans are terrified. Job 39 says that creatures are described to live freely, independent, and unafraid of human beings. Creation is full of mysteries to be admired, not domains to be dominated. Job 38 and 39 stands for the negation of human superiority over creatures and domination over earth. Earth is the custodian to take care of wild creatures as well as human beings. Once again, I am concluding. Earth is the custodian to take care of wild creatures as well as human beings. But humans can participate in the mission of earth as co-custodians. We always think that we are the custodians of the earth. No, earth is the custodian of earth and taking care of all creatures, including human beings. But it is the mission with human beings to participate as co-custodians. Thus, mutual custodianship can be worked out. That is mutual custodianship. Instead of custodianship, stewardship. This is mutual custodianship. That is kinship. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now you have to read all these 4 chapters once again. That is rereading. Chapter 12. Read the article carefully. Then again you reread the chapter 12. Read second article and reread the chapter 28. Third article you should read very carefully to reread the chapters 38 and 39. Thank you very much.